Good afternoon. Welcome back to the B&H virtual event space. You are tuned in for another episode of Leica Stories. Today, talking with photographer director Caesar Lima. Caesar, welcome to the program.
Hey, Derek, we made it.
We made it. We made it. And it was like we had such a good vibe going in the green room before we went live. I'm like, man, I didn't even want to. I just wanted to hit the broadcast button then and just start going
Yeah,
live with good conversation.
the making of, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Now, huge thank you to you for joining us, and of course, Leica for making this happen. We've had some outstanding and inspirational photographers, some of the top in the game. And look, it's always a pleasure as a fellow photographer to sit down, albeit virtually, and get to pick the brains of some of the most talented photographers that are out there in the industry. So, I want to send a huge thank you to you. Your work is incredibly inspiring. We're going to dig
Thank
into
you.
it. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to get to look at some images. For those of you out there joining us, if you're unfamiliar with this series, go onto our YouTube page at B&H Event Space, and you can check out some of our other Leica stories from the past. But we're going to dive in, Caesar. Incredibly accomplished photographer. I want to know where it started for you. Where did the itch for photography begin?
It's interesting because when I was in college, back in Brazil, I I was studying for advertising and marketing, and in the beginning of the year, we had to go to a studio to see a actual photo shoot. And until then, I was just, I had a 35 millimeter and I play here and there, but I didn't get the bug at that time. When I got to the studio, it was one of the most amazing places, even for today's standards. This kid, his name, I forgot his name. But anyway, he was doing commercial work for big product. Shooting 8x10, 4x5, refrigerators, sound equipment, cars. I mean, I was thrilled. I love gear, and I said, "Oh my God, maybe that's what I want to do." And so I start going back to his place. Say, "Hey, if you need any help, let me know." And then when I moved to the US, I built a portfolio with a bunch of tests, stuff that I shot with him.
Mhm.
And then when I moved, I opened my studio in 91. I did a lot of product. And at that time was like soft boxes. Everything has to be sharp, has to be shadowless. There was not a lot of retouching possible. I mean, you could airbrush or make an 8x10 and work from there. So there's no computer access to it. And little by little, I start switching to medium format. Then I start shooting people, and until I got to do street, because I was for so many years, so used to start from totally darkness and add the light here and there and make my own light. And I mean, my 35 millimeter in the beginning of my career was just a hobby. I wouldn't
Mm.
see myself shooting a 35 millimeters, a slide to give to a client. Everything was at least 2.25 and a bunch of 4x5 work. So 35 millimeter was just like a hobby. Like today you have a pocket camera, but little by little I start losing that perfection, and I start shooting
Interesting.
things that I had less control, and things that I could not. I mean, I need to chase the light. I don't make the light anymore. And I don't direct the model. When I'm shooting on the street, I rarely talk to people. I just smile, and I kind of induce them to feel good about the photo, and and I don't want them to pose. If you ask permission and they go like this or like this, you don't want that. I mean,
I was going to
so
ask about that because you have a beautiful body of street photography and a beautiful body of portraiture. So I'm always interested to see how portrait photographers approach the street because you have like this like old school street photographer mentality of like, no, a street photographer is not supposed to be seen or heard. They're supposed to just kind of float in the shadows. They're not supposed to interact. It's just candids. And now you've had this newer wave of people who do like to interact, people that will stop and ask permission or talk to people and get stories. There's more of an interaction. And then you have your street photography purists who are like, well, that's not street photography, that's street portraiture. How do you how do you approach the streets as a portrait photographer used to having control? How do you relegate that control and just kind of float into the background?
See, there's one thing that street photography. It's very trendy. A lot of people. It's kind of cool to be a street photographer, and they making rules. So I just don't think about that. I mean, I see light. I see people. I mean, the more candid, the better.
Hmm.
And but people are putting too many rules. Sometimes you make categories on your on my website, and then it makes me think: is this a street photographer or is not a street photographer? I mean, who cares?
Like
The
where
way I
which folder you do put it in?
Yeah, for me the big difference is working with the natural light or working with flash or both,
Hmm.
and working with the model, a real model, or a real person that it's not being direct. So the thrill to me on the street is to kind of do something as nice as a studio portrait, but without a lot of direction. Just looking at people. I think people, depending on your expression, you gain people's trust. So people look at you, you kind of smile, and you don't talk, you don't say anything. And I get a lot of great pictures. People kind of pose, but in a way that they don't go all the way and do silly things.
Hmm.
It's a
It's
kind
almost
of
like your
respect.
mannerisms. Like
Yes,
you approach somebody with confidence. They see you have a camera. They know what you're doing. They know you're a photographer, and they kind of it's almost like this unspoken. I realize that you want to take a picture of me. If I don't want an image made, I'm going to let you know. But otherwise, they just react.
yeah. And people that are on the street, what do we shoot? We shoot people that look unusual, people that dress differently. But everybody that wants to look unusual, wants to dress like this, they like the attention. So it's easy to approach. I mean, it's just they want to be noticed.
You got to see
And
the new wave in New York. You have people who go out and you think they want attention. They're dressed like it, and then when you go to take an image, it's like, wait, but you left the house knowing,
yeah,
especially in the age where everybody has a camera now. It kind of
I
baffles
don't.
me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No,
It's
I mean,
like people that they dress up in a special costume and they want money for. And you're gonna take a picture of me. I said, listen, you're really missing out here. You don't know what's going on. Maybe I
it's
should
like
be asking you for money.
exactly. It's like it's almost like the people that go out. I think me as a street photographer, when I see someone and I can tell that they want to have their image taken too bad, like it's almost like they want it. Like they're looking at me to see if I'm looking at them, to see if I want to
Mhm.
take their pic. It's a turn off to me. And I think it
Yeah,
goes back to what you said of that whole aura of the streets. It's that mystery. It's that I don't know if I'm going to get the shot in time. I don't know if I'm going to spend 6 hours walking around and get nothing, or I don't know if I'm going to have the moment of a lifetime happen and I didn't have my settings right, or I just missed the shot. I think it's that chance that you're not going to nail it that adds that interest.
and it's cool. Also, it's almost street photography. Even though we shoot with the M11 right now, I'm doing an M11 monochrome. It's a high end camera and all digital, and but I don't take a look. So only when you get home, it says, "Did I get this one?" And sometimes you get a shot that you thought that you didn't have enough time. Your zone foxing didn't work, and that's a great shot. It's funny. I don't like to take a picture and look, take a picture and look. You need to let it go and look for something else. Don't pick on what you shot.
I love that mentality. Even when you're shooting with digital, just go out with this film mindset of I took it, I'm past it. And a lot of these moments you can't get back anyway. So
Yeah.
why are you gonna sit there and look at a shot that the moment's gone?
What I notice sometimes it's funny. The situation brings you to somehow to ask uh, for clearance. It's like you ask for permission to take a shot. It's almost kind of clear in the situation what you're doing, because a lot of people they say, "What are you doing? Are you gonna sell my picture?" I say, "Yeah, I'm gonna get rich on your picture. I'm gonna sell, gonna make millions of dollars." But most of the time, I think it's one good way to do it is just to take the picture and don't put it on your face. Know your lens, so don't change the lens so you're familiar with the cropping and what you're getting, and ask permission after.
Hmm.
But you already got the shot, and people say yes, and then you do the make them happy, and but you got the shot already.
What
And but most of the time, I try not to don't talk at all. Just see what you can do if you can gain their trust. And also, there's a little bit of a uh, adrenaline, when
hmm
when you're shooting a female, it's okay, but sometimes you go to and photograph a guy, or he has that rough look, and maybe you think I'm gonna get my ass kicked here, and but the same thing, this is street photography. That's the whole thrill to be on the street and shoot people that you don't know, and be like invisible.
what
That's
is it
the way
about people? What is it?
I
Because I
know.
know when you look, I look you up and what pops up, all kinds of people, right?
Yeah.
That's the tagline there, and your work is very people driven. What is it about people that interests you?
No, it's funny. Even when I don't have a camera, I go to places. I try to go to travel as much as I can, and I'm always staring at people because what's cool here. I mean, what's cool for a guy at my age, for a guy your age, or for a teenager? Everything is relative. It's different. When you
Mm,
go to a different country, it's even more unusual because I stare at a kid, 18 years old. He has, like I was in Egypt uh, a couple months ago, and that kid had a motorcycle. And the way he was dressed, I mean, he was what would say that it's cool. It's relative. It's, to have a 125 motorcycle in LA is not cool. So I keep looking. I'm always trying to understand the story behind that. Where does he live? What does he go to school? I mean, what's up on his life? I mean, what else can he do? So I always have people. I mean, people tell stories. Even people that people say, "Oh, don't shoot characters going." I will shoot people front of the people. They say street photography should not shoot the back, but sometimes the back means a lot,
interesting.
because it means that people are leaving or they going somewhere. It's not that I'm afraid to take a picture. No, like in Hong Kong when I was there, people don't care. You can put the camera in their face and they think, oh, that's just a tourist. So you have full access,
Mm.
which which is the access to me is when you're not doing commercial work. Access is gold, because that's where you can go to places and able to see things in a different environment. Access is the whole thing,
That resonates so
you
much
know.
with me. I think it shows through in your work that you have a genuine interest in people, and I'm the same way, man. That's why it's like I'm like right here with you because I'll do the same thing. I'll sit in a plaza when I'm on vacation. I'll sit in a plaza and just watch and just observe.
Yeah.
People are interesting when they don't know that they're being observed. And I think we
Yeah,
live in
because they
such
do
a
things they not they don't know that you're looking at them, so they do things from heart.
yeah,
They
they're being
real.
themselves. Exactly. And I think that's what's
Correct.
so
Yeah.
great about it. It's that
Yeah.
genuine, we've become so accustomed now in the social media and entertainment age. Everything. When you see something online, what's the first question that
Yeah.
pops into your head? Was that real? Is that an act? Did
Yeah.
they fake it? And I think that's what's so beautiful about the streets. Whether you have a camera or not, you hit the nail on the head. It's just watching people. People are just interesting. And
Yeah.
when you go to different
And
places and
sometimes
see,
that.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying that. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
The sometimes I take pictures on the street. They're funny, but I'm not making fun of them. It's I'm just capturing a moment that their guards are down. So in what was it in South Korea? There was people after was just after lunch, and I picked like two guys walking, and he was like, you know, touching his teeth and fixing something that wasn't right. So, but if he knows that I'm shooting, he wouldn't allow me to do that. When people, sometimes I take picture of people eating and, but that's real. I'm not making fun. I'm just showing what's real. People stare. People go to a restaurant and they stare, what the other people do. And the only difference that we're taking a picture,
That's
So I
such a
can't be
good
judged by
point.
that,
It's such
isn't
a
it?
good point. How do you have you ever been approached about it? I mean, how do you handle that? I think confidence plays in, right? If you're not really you're taking a picture, you're not really reacting to it.
Yeah, you have to feel very confident that you're not doing anything wrong. Plus, being older, people kind of respect a little more. And if you're a teenager, you have the huge backpack and the hood is on, so that's a stereotype that people may say, well, "What are you doing?" But I always ask, I always smile when they come. I'm very calm, and I said, "Well, that's what I do. I take picture of people on the street. That's my hobby."
Mhm.
And normally, if you talk slowly, if you talk like you said, confident, people they agree. I said, "You want to take a look? You want me to erase the picture?" I had a situation. The lady came to me and said, "Did you just take a picture of my dog?" I said, "Yes." Without asking me, I said, I thought the dog wouldn't mind it, and she asked me to erase. I said, "Okay, I'll erase
Oh
your dog,
man.
no problem." But that was the most like confrontational situation I had. But
Man, I
sometimes
wish mine was
uh, people come over and say, "What are you doing?" "I'm taking picture on the street. I mean, I'm a street photographer." Okay. When you throw the conversation back to them, what are they gonna say? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? When they put the pressure in, what are you doing? You tell what you're doing, and then when you go back, people normally they don't have anything to say. They'll start saying okay, and you feel nice. You show them the picture, and or show other pictures. But this thrill, it's good. I like it. I'm
Is it
not being
better? Is it better than the control, the thrill of having control? Like when you're doing a personal project, when you're working on a commercial project and you have full control, is there a
well.
does it trigger a different kind of response in your brain? Like
Yes,
where's the joy in the commercial side? When you're in the studio, where do you find the joy?
it's interesting because even today, I mean, after all these years, I when I go to studio, I still have like a little bit of I'm a little anxious, and because it's a lot of people I have to coordinate. It's makeup, stylist, model, the model agent, and the client, and the clients are, oh, most of the time you have the agency, and once I was doing a shoot for T-Mobile and they hired me because they were doing, I don't know if you remember the girl next door, the girl that used to wear a magenta dress.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So they came up and said, we need to change her look. She's too, this is new, we need to change. She needs to be more sexy. So they saw a video behind the scene that I did with just playing. I test a lot. I got a model and she was dressed up as a catwoman. So not no nudity. And she was posing and playing as a cat, and she was drinking milk from the cup. And so I asked the agency, why did you pick me? She said, oh, because of this video, they love it. So to make a long story short, we're shooting. It's a 2-day shoot, uh, 25 people on the set, and I have the agency doing some buffering, because if they don't do it, the client comes to you, and they didn't. The guy came, and he was the advertising director at the client side, and said, "Please, no sexy. Don't do anything sexy." And in my mind, I said, "Jesus Christ, we like for 3 days we're talking about the how to do this thing without showing any skin, you know." And then I called the agent and said, "Listen, what are they saying?" I said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll talk to them." And it was awesome. They love it. And in the beginning, it's funny because they bought only 3 months rights, and then they come back. They bought for 6 months, then another 3 months. Instead of buying an usage for 5 years, they were like a little concerned, and they kept buying, which is
Just a little at a time.
way more expensive for them to buy this way. But shooting in studio, it's the thrill is at the end. You know, when I finish a day shoot, I can't go to sleep until 3, 4 a.m. You got the
Interesting.
adrenaline that what you just did. You know, normally 99.9 nothing goes wrong, but there's always a possibility something's, the equipment, the assistant, the things happen. You just have to deal with it.
Mhm.
There's no perfect shoot, and but it's just I can't just turn off and go to sleep. When I'm doing street, there's no pressure, you know. I didn't get it. Okay, I'll go back tomorrow.
There's no contract
So
riding on it.
yeah, so but both, I cannot live without one or the other.
Mhm.
It's very good to have full control, and then you get bored for days or a week, or you make a trip, you're doing out street, and doing working with people that are not professional. So I love the mix, and I love so many flavors. And people say, "Oh, that's great for a photographer," but it's commercially is not good. You know,
Mhm.
people wants to, like I said, people wants to hire a specialist.
Mhm.
If they sell ice cream, you need to show them a whole portfolio of ice cream. And
How do you handle that? How does that work? I mean, is that across the world? Is that US based? Is it just the commercial jobs that are concerned about that? How do you handle, because you have great work on both sides. Are they looking at
well,
it as they want somebody who just does this? They want a commercial photographer.
I notice it's mostly in the US. It's the
Okay.
way people wants to buy something, a service from a specialist. In Brazil, for example, when I do commercial work there, they don't care if you do street, if you do food, if you do people. Brazilian photographers, they have a portfolio that have people, food, product, and that's no problem. And in US, you need to be so specific, at least on what you show them. It's like I think what's happening is it's more and more the agencies and creative agencies are uh, relying on the photographer's eyes more and more. So they gotta feel confident that it's what you do is 100% what you
Mhm.
do every day and every time. And there's more creative potential in your hands than before. Before they used to come with a layout. I had jobs like big job. They come with a transparency, and you put in the back of the 4x5 or the 8x10, and you have to just place the product like they want. This is not a small company. This is from agencies. So there was no room for to be creative. Right now, they ask for your idea, what you're gonna do. But I guess if you have a good eye, you should be able to shoot people, to shoot food. I mean, it's I can see the difference. What makes you not good to do something that's a little different than what you show.
Hmm.
But it is mostly, I feel mostly in the US that the you have to have many samples of if the scene has a kiss, you need to show them, you know,
Interesting.
15 shots of a kiss.
So
Yes,
they want to
of
see
people kissing.
specific
Yeah.
examples.
And
Interesting.
and, and that to me is wrong because then you're getting somebody that's gonna do what's being done. You know what I'm saying?
A great point.
It's do you want because the key of photograph, even in advertising, is to look unique, to get attention. People look at your photo and they stare, for a couple more seconds. So that's what you want attention. And if you're gonna photograph, if you're gonna do an advertising campaign exactly like was done before, you're not gonna get any more attention. Sometimes you need to take a chance. You need to. If I had an agency, I would hire a food guy to do portraits because I know I was gonna get something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but people don't in agencies. The budgets are so big that they don't want to risk.
Exactly.
Uh, I had
Now,
situations that the one they do when you're bidding for a job. I had a situation that said, "Listen, the buyer came to me and said, you got the job, but I have a problem." So, oh my God, I think I overcharged. And she said, "No, uh, your price, your estimate is the lowest, and I cannot hire the lowest. If something goes wrong, I lose my job. So
wow.
you need to be at least in the middle." And I said, "Well, how am I gonna do this? Because I just can't overprice,
Hmm.
won't look professional." So what I did is I have to quote like they had a supposed to be done in studio, and they wanted like a black background with the reflections, that which the highlights on the bottom on the model. And I said I can't do that in Photoshop pretty quick. So to make the whole shoot a little more expensive, I made a cove with acrylic, shiny acrylic, and
That's
uh,
great.
uh, and then I made the estimate higher, and they approved. So
Man, I need
it's
more of those jobs. Those are the jobs you need. The jobs where they're like, wait, you're not charging enough.
I
What
know.
I'm curious. You said you've been shooting the M11 monochrome in the street. What do you use for the studio?
The studio I use been using a lot of the SL2.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
Yeah, because I got now the Profoto has a transmitter that works perfectly. I'm using more and more. Before I used to do a lot of Hasselblad, and I use the Leica without the flash.
Okay.
So we do a shoot, we do what the client wants. Then I get an SL2, open up to f2.0 90, and you do just with the modeling light, and you just get a different look. You get the softness and just the eyes are in focus. And a lot of times people say, "Wow, I love that." They pick what not supposed to be done. Normally, for beauty campaigns, you shoot at f11, f8. They want everything sharp, and but more and more. And then I got into even shooting with the M10. It's a lot slower to shoot people. You really shooting F10 and M10 with the 50 Sumi looks, and 1.4 is hard to with the moving model. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
easy task. So I did my job with the regular camera and the studio camera and most of the time medium format. And then when you get the Leica, it's so different. You got this. It's
You
that's
can't.
what they
I know
call
you
the
can't. You can't
Leica look.
describe
Yeah.
it. For that Leica look, you're right. What is it, man? Because I shot the SL2S and It is. You look at it and there's just something about it you can't describe. When you pull the images up on the screen, forget back of the camera, forget the experience. When you pull the images up and you really start looking at them, I think it makes you, if you're not the type of person that likes to pixel peep, it makes you want to pixel peep. There's something about going around your images, especially when you're taking photos like a street scene and you have all these details and all this, there's so much going on. I don't know. There's just something about it.
Yeah, it is hard to name what it is. You know, it's even like family people when we have an event, a family event. I always take a Q or a CL. I have a little CL that I love to use. You know, keep it on in the bag. And relatives they say, "Oh my God, the other day I saw a picture, it was so cool, like the like stuff you do." You know, because the background was soft. Like the like stuff. I mean, even people that is not in the that doesn't shoot, they kind of know they expect to be different, you know, because you're using a Leica. But it's amazing. I mean, I think the camera not being as fast as the latest Japanese brands makes you think, you know, what you're doing. You know, I see young people on YouTube shooting models, and they shoot. First of all, they don't look in the viewfinder, and
they're,
then they shoot.
they're like,
Yeah, and they shoot like a movie. I mean, you know,
it takes the
the
beauty out
picture.
of the process.
I know you need to build. You need to look and do this, tweak a little bit, change the angle. Whatever you can change, you should try. I mean, you can change the light, but you can change the angle. And I guess the pictures that really talk to me are shot with the Leica because uh, it made me think. You know, it slowed me down to a point that I'm really thinking what I'm doing. You know, sometimes I'm setting up a place and waiting for something to happen. I mean, I never did that with the fast Japanese camera. Oh, see, if they pass here, it's gonna focus. And sometimes not being out of focus, it's an advantage because it makes you think, it makes you prepare, it makes you be aware of what could be done.
Yeah. I've always been an artist and I liken it to having really good drawing paper that has a nice texture to it with some drawing pencils versus taking a piece of paper out of the printer and taking one of my son's number two pencils and trying to draw. Yes. Are there people out there that are going to create ridiculously talented drawings on either? Of course. But there's something when I drag the pencil across the paper and you can feel the texture of the paper, the way it holds the graphite, the charcoal, whatever I'm using. There's a beauty to the process. And I think that's part of it is enjoying the process, right? It's like you
Mhm.
sitting in the plaza watching people without a camera. It's almost like you're out there taking pictures. You're taking pictures up here. You're enjoying the process. And when you're out there with a camera, it's not like you're out there for the express purpose of, okay, I'm out here paying bills, I'm taking pic. No, you're still enjoying the process. And I think that's what it's really about is finding that beauty in the process, taking out, like we said earlier, entertainment doesn't. Yeah, money's great and there's those jobs you do for the money, but if you lose the love of the craft, then what's left? You're not going to be able to make money because you're
Yeah.
not going to be passionate about lifting a camera up anymore.
Yeah, you cannot chase money, no? Money will come if you do something that you like, and if you do well, uh, you're gonna put a lot more time. I bet. If you love what you're doing, you're gonna put a lot more time into it than anybody else, and the money will come. I mean, everything takes time. I mean, to learn how to see lights, to learn how to even control the camera, know what the camera can do. Everything is time. So if you take the time, if you do not thinking about money, people say, ah, this is BS, because I need to pay my bills end of the month, and how I'm gonna do it? I'm just gonna think about it. But it is in the long term. It's like my biggest achievement is to be able to do what I like and get paid. But I
Yeah.
never got into it because of the money. I was kind of naive. People in my family said, "Why? Do something. Do go work in a company, or why are you gonna be an artist?" And that kind of gave me. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna, not that I'm gonna show them, but that gives you, when I want to do something, uh, I don't see plan B. Because if you see plan B, it's an easy escape. If I can do this, I can do that. So when you don't have a choice, you just do it. If I'm gonna make this into a profession, I'm gonna make this into a profession. I'm not gonna say, "Wow, it didn't work out," and I'm doing accounting now. So, I mean, nothing against accounting. It's just that whatever you decide to do, you need to dive in
Yeah.
and do your best. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
very important.
we're gonna dive into some pictures right now. I want to look at some images. Beautiful work here. All right, Cesar. This is your time, man. This is talk to us about this image. This image jumped out to me. Was is this supposed to be heart shaped? Tell me
Yes.
I'm onto something. Okay.
And
I didn't
it
want to
wasn't.
be one of those people that looks at your pictures and is like, I see a squirrel climbing out of the clouds.
Now, the funny thing is that I only noticed I was doing a shoot in Brazil and was doing a light check. And I want to make the background white, but not too white that will fog the camera, And the strobe in the front didn't pop. And I said, wait, this is interesting. And I asked the stylist, can you make a little dent on top of her head? And I mean, I think I won a couple of awards with this, and it's so simple. The flash didn't work.
That is great. Well, and it's like
Sometimes,
that little detail, the little rim light on her
yeah,
jawline. It's like it's the little details that make it so perfect.
yeah, because
Well,
then you add a little bit of a dimension to it, and but I noticed there's a lot of stuff that not that doesn't happen that happens by mistake, but you're surprised that in the process of doing what you're supposed to do, you got to keep your eyes open because sometimes better things happen. I mean, she's a beautiful model, and the pictures of her are beautiful, but nothing has a punch as this one, you
yeah,
know?
definitely.
So this is another one I did, what's her name, Amanda. And this is using a shadow of her hands, something that, who puts a shadow on people's, such a beautiful model. But I think it created a lot more attention in her eyes. She was doing this supposed to be a much bigger crop, and I start coming closer because I use I don't use zooms, so I had the 90 SL2 with the 90, the Apple 90, and I start coming
Mm.
closer, and she was thinking because she's very smart model, uh, and she was thinking, well, he's not putting the hand in front of it. And I said, that looks amazing. Just the shadow tells that's a hand, doesn't look weird. And that's another example. The shot that I had in my mind was different. And then when you start shooting, you come up with you see something better.
Mm, I love that. And it makes it different. It draws your eye in. If you take
Yeah.
that shadow down, it's
Then it's a
another
headshot.
nice,
Yeah.
it's another nice picture. It's still a nice picture, but it's another nice
Yeah.
picture of a beautiful model. This makes it different. It makes it unique. And I think you're
Yeah.
right. It really draws the eyes out. Like my eye goes straight to the shadow of the fingers on the face with the eye peeking out.
Mm. And that's that was with the full sun in her face.
She loved that, didn't she?
Yeah. She was complaining, are you done? Are you done? And this is my babushka. That's what they call grandma in Russia. I was in Ukraine, in Chernobyl, and This is last year, I think. And this lady, that is a story about her. She, since the accident, Chernobyl, people are asked to leave the area, and she didn't want to. She said, "I have my house, and I have that's where I was born," and she lives by herself. I think she was 93, 94 at the time.
Wow.
So somebody, the guy that took us there, said, "Do you want to meet the real babushka?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And we went to her house. She had pickles and vodka, and she was telling stories to us. I mean, to the guide, because we don't understand Russian. And I was trying to find a candid moment, because every time she sees my camera, she starts staring, and it's that thing that she start making a little bit
Doing
of
the
a
pose.
face. Yeah, so I went behind people, and I kind of in the middle of it, just put the lens in the middle of two heads. And so she was talking to someone. To me, I had the right lighting, because I get some texture on her face that shows the age. But she was such a sweetheart. She wanted us to have lunch and with her. I said, "No, no, thank you." But I had to drink vodka like at 9:30 in the morning.
Vodka and pickles and stories. How can you go wrong?
Yeah, I
I
know.
love what you said about wanting her to not be looking at the camera and going for the candid, because I feel like so many times you see, especially travel images, they wait for the moment where the subject looks and they want that contact, and then again, like the last picture we looked at, it becomes just like every other image. And this is why I love talking to photographers about the images they take, because I wouldn't know that looking at this. I wouldn't know, you just even repositioning yourself to get the shot you wanted, to get the candid, the environment, showing the bottle on the table, and all these little elements, the light streaking across the table. It adds so much interest and it makes the picture so unique that I think 9 out of 10 people, I'm not even going to say photographers, 9 out of 10 people that own cameras, be very choice with my words there. 9 out of 10 people that own cameras would focus just on her. They would crop it in tight and they'd go back to that classic headshot look, everything out of
Yeah.
focus, and just focus on her. And I think
And,
that the environment, the angle, everything makes the image what it is.
and this is the trick. I think the job of every photographer is to make an image that makes people stare at it. If somebody look at your picture and they just go for the next one, you didn't do your job. I mean, it could be beauty, could be you grossed or you feel sad. I mean, any kind of a feeling you need to transmit. I mean, sometimes you look at a picture and you feel sad or you feel anger. I mean, but that's you're telling a story. If the
Mm.
picture is beautiful or not, but you're telling a story, you're freezing a little moment on people's life. And I like to shoot what's pretty, but sometimes you tell any story that's possible at the time. It's very important to include something else other than a face or just a nice sunset.
I'm so glad you said that. It makes me think, yeah, it stopped me. And I'll tell you, when I first looked at this image, the first thing that goes through my mind when I'm looking at images by someone who I know knows how to take a photo, I'm looking at every detail. Everything's in there by design. It's not by accident. We talked before we went live about luck and how much,
Yeah,
luck. I was saying how, yeah, street photography is a lot of luck. And you corrected me and you said, yeah, but you have to know, there's no just blind luck. You still have to have the know-how. You have to know what you're doing so that when the luck comes, you're prepared.
yeah, you
And
need to be aware that
yeah,
something could happen. Sometimes it's a sliding movement or whatever it is. I mean, a car shows up or somebody jumps into the frame, but if you know are not aware or not ready, you're gonna miss the luck
yeah.
that you know.
And
So you gotta be aware.
I love the intentionality of what you decide to show in an image. I think it's great.
Yeah, this is a good example. People, you go to a site, this is in Baku, Azerbaijan, and these amazing buildings. Is the architect is she's famous, Zara Hadid. The building is amazing. I mean, the roof is the floor. I mean, and people are shooting the building, and I think it doesn't. You know, the building doesn't look like a building. So you need to have a human to explain how big it is, to explain the where the lighting's coming from, and it just adds dimension to this whole thing. And people are like, those are locals, you know. When you go to this site, you just stare for minutes, and your mouth is open. It's so amazing, and these guys don't care. They're just walking by. So if you really stare at it, there's something that shows you that the guys are local, the how big is the building. I mean, people sometimes are the main thing, but people sometimes are just props. You know, like
Mm.
you ask me why is you have people on most of your shots. You know, like I said, sometimes they're just props. They show dimensions. They show how big things are, and or or they're just sometimes the main part of the image of the story.
Yeah, I mean, and in here is a perfect example of it. Even with the shadow, that shadow becomes part of why the people are there, or the space that the people fill
Yeah,
compositionally, and compositionally it works beautiful.
and that was luck, you know, because being at the right place at the right time, waiting, you know, being patient. That's what people call luck.
How long do you normally wait out? Is it a scene like that that you're like, okay, I need to get something here because without it, without the people, it's clearly a different shot. Without the people, I don't think the shot you're
Yeah,
gonna be like, okay, it's because then
it's a
it's about the
stock photo. Yeah.
architecture. Yeah,
Uh, boy, I'm not very patient. So sometimes when I have to wait, I normally have two cameras with two different lenses. And so I had this in mind. I kind of framed it. I said, "Yeah, but that's stock photo. It's boring." And I seen them from far away, so I didn't know they were gonna pass by. So I was shooting some other things. It took me maybe 20 minutes to get the shot,
wow.
but I see people that wait for an hour, and I wish I had the patience to wait that long. But if I have to do 20 minutes, half an hour, you know, if you know what you're gonna get, well, you kind of visualize it's worth it, you know. And
Yeah,
people,
it's
in a way that you see, the trick also is not to make too much of a presence. You don't want people looking at you. You know, I'm invisible there. I'm not a. This is like a Q3. I'm very close, and they're not looking at me. I mean, between me and the pyramids, I will look
I
at the
would I was
pyramids.
gonna say that would be kind of impressive if they were looking at you and passing these
Yeah.
pyramids. That's
Well,
hang
the
that on.
horses.
See, come on, give yourself some credit, Caesar. You drawing some attention away there.
This is in Dubai. This is with the M10, with the 90, not the Apple, it's the Summary, the 2.5. And boy, you know, there's so much going on. This is like the main market in Dubai. But when I saw this guy coming. I saw the hydrant in red. It looked like painting, you know, because the wall is kind of dirty, kind of washed out. And I said, imagine if this guy comes through. I mean, he's at work and look how well dressed he is. He makes deliveries, you know, between stores. And that one I wait like 10, 15 minutes. I said, this guy gotta come here because he was going all over. And to find a second to shoot this without people, because there's a lot of overlapping. It's a market, you
Mm.
know. So I lose a lot of my friends when I go to trips, and just keep going. Then I have to, where are you? I'll send a text message because I see something that's doable. I'll just stay. You know, when I'm gonna come back to Dubai, I don't know. So you better be patient.
What was the
But I
experience like
love.
photographing the streets over there? How are you received?
People are just fine. Uh, Females are not. So
Okay.
females are, because the way the religion and all that, they don't like to be photographed. So if you shoot a female, you gotta be very discreet. Or actually was one of my dreams was to shoot a female in a burqa.
Hmm.
And shots that I have, they're stolen shots. Like I pass by with the camera my waist or on my shoulder, and I take the picture. But on the trip to Cairo, we went to Egypt this year, and our guide was so beautiful, beautiful big eyes. And I told her, I said, listen, I know females don't like to be photographed. Would you mind? I showed her my work, she said, oh, okay. She got a burqa, and I did like a portrait of her.
Hmm.
And it's so amazing because the burqa just the eyes. So you need to 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 catch. It's a portrait of the eye, but the eye has so much of a feedback that between, I don't know if the picture is, no, I don't think you have the picture. She asked me, I told her, I said, can you stop smiling? She said, how do you know I'm smiling? I'm
Uh,
wearing a burqa. I said, I can tell. You don't know how expressive your eyes are, but so she was laughing that I noticed. But it's amazing. This was shot in LA. She's a singer, Jack, and I like to shoot musicians because they're very open.
hmm.
You don't need to convince them of anything because they understand that being different, that's what's gonna get them attention. And I think she had it done before, pictures with the. She showed me that she thought was cool to put writing on top of it, and I said, this is I like it, but that's like a graphic design kind of job. Can we do the writing in your face? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, whatever you want to say, we're gonna write on your face. I mean, you're so pretty that who cares? I'm never gonna make you ugly. And we convinced her, and the makeup artist wrote on her face, and little by little, it was like a beauty shot. And little by little, I asked her to to put her hands on the lipstick and start messing. And I just love all that red, you know, the dirt, the. So at the end was the picture that we choose that I like most, because before she had just a nice lipstick, and we said it's not there yet. You need to get a little more confusion. You need to get something. The red is it's important for the shot to balance the shot.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the shallows at the field really lends to it draws
Yeah,
attention number one to the words, but also just the fall off is
yeah,
so soft and so nice.
yeah. That's the thing with the SL2. That I shot her with the flash, and then at the end, it's towards the end. I said, okay, you're gonna get your lipstick all over you, and you're gonna just spread out, and I'm gonna shoot without flash. And it's that type of shot that if it works, works, and end up being the main shot. People just you gotta take a chance. You
Yeah.
never know. So one this is very close to my house, and this is to me is synchronicity because I mean how look at how people are split out on the image, and there's a little bit of overlapping on her hand with the couple in the back, but everything to me, I went to school for graphic design and advertising. So design wise, I want to always find something that's it's balanced, it's clean, and that was a surprise because I shot her doing the like she was making a curve.
Mhm.
She was gonna cross on the left, and when I saw her on the bike and she wasn't sitting, was with the backlight. I said, I love this. But then when I look at the shot, she's exactly in the middle of the two couples. And I just love the car and the size, everything. The red light both ways. You know, like she has the right of riding, and I just love it. It's funny when I saw it was three pictures, and then I go direct to that one that was more balanced.
I love it. It makes me miss LA.
I love it here. This is in Istanbul. Uh, I have a bunch of shots of the kids playing soccer on the street, and on this one, you just come close and they smile. You know, kids are awesome. 'Cause kids, they don't care. They don't judge what's going on. So I came with I look different than them. I have a fancy camera. I just came and start shooting. They start showing off, and everyone will try different things to get my attention. So when I saw this was the oldest kid on the group. So he started juggling. I said, I gotta capture this. And I'm from Brazil. I love soccer. And so I spent a good 15 minutes with the kids there, uh, and I got this shot that I love it. See, this is the thing with every time I get a metro, I go underground. When I exit, I ask my wife or my friends, wait a little bit. I want to get a candid here. And this is, I am in charge on this because there's nothing they can say or do it because that door is going to close, they're going to go away, you know?
It's the safest you'll
So,
ever be.
yeah. So this is like the 3 4 seconds that you can really put the camera on their face. But it was kind of his eyes looking, he's locked on my camera. I thought was very interesting. I mean, he's not, mad or nothing, but he saw me, and
Yeah, it's that look in his eyes. You can tell. And I think it's what you talked about earlier. When someone just it's that moment when they realize you're taking a picture of them. There's
yeah,
nothing they can do other than just sometimes they're puzzled. They give you that he's kind of giving you that like, okay, you're taking a picture. Like, am I interesting? Why are you taking it? But that makes for an interesting image. I don't know why.
yeah. But this is the thing, they looking at you, and if you have a good expression, you can be smiling. It has to be a smirk. It has to be so he feels confident.
Yeah,
You can be laughing at him, you feel uncomfortable, or you cannot be too serious. You say, "Well, this guy is kind of following me. What's going on?" So your expression is very important when you're doing this type of work. And the lighting was awesome.
that was perfect. Speaking of
So
lighting,
this is yeah, this picture. I love it. This is the same place that I shot the girl on a bike. It's very close to my house. I walk to this. So almost every day I go to the beach, do a little walk. And sometimes I sit on the on the corner of this crossing and with the like a cube, it's small, and I frame and I take pictures, but I'm looking at them. I'm not looking in camera. So I have everything ready. This is probably F8. And when people cross and notice me, if they look at me, I have the smile, I have the a good expression, or sometimes I look away. If there's no eye contact in a mean way, you get the shot. So I had the lady pointing to the kids something up there. I mean, there's the silhouette uh, is beautiful because there's a lot going on. I mean, you see, there's four kids, a mom and dad. There's somebody else in the back. I mean, it's you're showing very little but telling a lot. I love silhouettes.
definitely. We're gonna have time for one last one in here. So I'm gonna sneak this one in here and talk to us about this image.
Now, this is an ongoing project that I have. They call Unusual Beauty, and I photograph people that have some kind of a skin condition. Like what she has is they call Navi, and it's big spots, dark spots grow throughout her body. And I do people that has vitiligo, and so what I do, I pick. I shop it. She's from Brazil. I pick people from all over the world. I mean, I went to England. I shot two people with vitiligo last month. I pick very good looking people that has this kind of condition to give a reference, a good reference for people that has the same. Some people have they were born with this and they want to hide it. They want to have a surgery, and I mean there's beauty there. I mean the girl is amazing. I have a guy that photographed. He has spots all over his body, and to me it's beautiful. And he feels confident, and it's funny because after I shoot people like this, she's very young, they gain confidence. She's a model. She's doing a lot of cosmetic things because today cosmetic companies are very open to everybody. They want to portray every segment, and I love that I help them somehow, and I help people that relate to them because it's just being unusual doesn't mean that's a defect. Is this she's not sick, it's a condition. She's so I've been doing this for 4 years already. It's hard to find people. I have my
Yeah.
next one will be in France. I have two girls, and they are gorgeous, and they have vitiligo. And I try to find people. I find them in Instagram. They follow. I have an Instagram just for that, and they follow, and everybody agrees to shoot. Never had a no. Because I'm portraying them in such a nice way. But that's full studio lighting and again, full control.
Interesting. Yeah. And Cesar does have that on his website, that project there. It's beautiful. It's so funny. It's like an hour goes by so fast, man. I could talk to you all day. It's like we just
Got an
vibe.
hour already?
Is right. It's been an hour already. I can't even believe it. It's like, and it's like that was one of the things. That's why I had to finish there on that picture because I knew it was from that project. I wanted, you to get that project out there. It's such a beautiful project. It's so hard for so many people to even think of an idea for a project, let alone execute, and especially projects that just take years to execute. I think that's one of the hardest things is really sticking with a project and seeing it through to its natural finish.
Yeah. Important to test, important to do personal projects. It's you gotta work I mean, I shoot almost every day. I don't,
Wow.
it's like a muscle. You need to get used to the camera, get your eyes ready.
Gotta
Uh,
exercise.
it's
You're gonna
fun.
lose it.
I love it.
Definitely. Well,
Addicted.
Cesar, this has been great talking to you. I'm gonna have to let you know when I'm out on the West Coast.
Please, yeah.
Go wander Venice Beach. You got some beautiful Venice Beach images. I wish we could have just sat here and looked at pictures all day. That would have been just
I
as fun.
know.
But huge thank you to you, Caesar, to Leica for making this happen, to all of our viewers
I
out there
know.
watching, listening. Huge thank you to everybody out there. That is it. That's all. Definitely before we close out, Caesar, I wanted you to have a chance to drop your website. We'll get that dropped in the comments section for all of you out there as well. So website, Instagram, YouTube. What do you got for us, Caesar?
Well, you can find my work at CaesarLima.com, and Caesar spelled Caesar, Lima.com. And Instagram is CAE Photo, CAEPHOTO. And check it out. There's a lot of different things there.
Awesome. Well, Caesar, we will do. We'll check it out. We'll send you a follow on there, and everybody else out there, support your local photographers. Support all the people
I
we do have
know.
on the program. This is great to get this free education out there. So, huge thank you to you, Caesar, to Leica, to all of our
Thank
viewers.
you,
That's
my
it.
friend.
Thank you, man.
Love it.
We'll link one day. We'll link in the streets one day.
For sure, yeah.
There
And
we
thank
go.
you, Leica. Thank you, B&H. It's good to have access to this type of exposure. Love it.
Definitely, definitely. Well, that's it. That's all we got for you today. Be sure to head over to our YouTube page where all of our recorded content is, along with much more Leica stories. That's it. That's all we got in the books. Another edition of the B Nature virtual event space in the books. Catch y'all next time.